The station was quiet in the early hours of Aerithra's morning. The red-orange plains outside glowed under the twin suns, but inside, tension hummed softly. Kai sat at the main console, reviewing the data from the previous day. Strange signals had returned, more complex, more organized than the earlier probe. Lyra stood beside him, calm as always. "They are here again," she said. "The Alien Council wishes to observe humanity once more. This is their final test." Kai's heart raced. The previous events had been challenging, but this time, he knew it would be harder. He glanced at Lyra. Her eyes held calm confidence, but he could sense the weight of what was coming. "They will want to see strategy, intelligence, and morality," she continued. "Not strength, not force. Your actions, Kai, will represent all of humanity." Kai nodded, determination settling in his chest. He had learned much from Lyra about observation, energy patterns, and patience. Now, he would combine human ingenuity with her guidance to face the challenge outside. The sensors picked up the alien craft. It was enormous, sleek, and far beyond human technology. Smaller drones swarmed around it, scanning and analyzing. The station shields registered faint energy pulses as the probes tested the systems. Kai took a deep breath. "We need a plan," he said. "Something that shows intelligence, adaptability. Humanity at its best." Lyra nodded. "Yes, use what you know. Use creativity. And trust yourself." Kai worked quickly, combining sensor data with the station's communication arrays. He devised a complex pattern of signals, energy pulses, and holographic projections. His goal was not to fight, but to communicate, showing the aliens that humans could reason, adapt, and innovate. "This will show them who we are," he said quietly. "Not by force, but by thought." Lyra watched silently, offering subtle corrections only when necessary. Her presence was steadying, like a calm anchor in the storm of his thoughts. As Kai activated the system, the alien craft's drones reacted immediately. They paused, analyzing the signals. Then, one by one, they began to mimic the patterns, repeating and adjusting in real time. "They are learning," Kai whispered, amazement and excitement in his voice. "They are responding." "Yes," Lyra said softly. "They are assessing your creativity, your problem-solving. This is exactly what they wanted to see." Minutes passed, feeling like hours. Kai adjusted, recalibrated, and refined. Every move, every calculation was a demonstration of human ingenuity. And slowly, the alien craft seemed to recognize it. The massive ship hovered, its surface shimmering with light, and the drones organized themselves into a formation that mirrored Kai's projections. "They approve," Lyra said quietly. "They understand. Humanity has passed their test." Kai felt a wave of relief and pride. He had done it. Not alone Lyra had guided him, but the solutions, the creativity, the quick thinking. It was all human. For the first time, he realized the full weight of what Lyra had told him. Humanity was young, inexperienced, and small in the grand timeline of the galaxy. Yet, through courage, curiosity, and intelligence, humans could shine even among advanced civilizations. The Alien Council communicated in subtle energy pulses. Lyra interpreted them, translating the messages for Kai. They congratulated him not just on his skill, but on demonstrating humanity's potential. "You have done well, Kai," Lyra said. "They recognize your species now. They see the ingenuity, courage, and adaptability of humans. You have opened the door for future contact." Kai felt a rush of joy. The responsibility, the fear, and the pressure melted into pride. "So humans are ready?" he asked. "Yes," Lyra said. "Ready to learn, ready to grow, and ready to join the greater galactic community when the time comes. But remember, this is only the beginning. There will be more tests, more challenges. But you have shown the most important thing, human potential." As the alien craft departed, the station's systems returned to normal. Kai exhaled, exhausted but exhilarated. He had survived the test, proved the worth of humanity, and learned more about himself than he had imagined. That evening, Kai and Lyra sat in the observation room, watching Aerithra's twin moons rise. The red plains stretched endlessly, but now the universe felt closer, less distant. and full of possibility, Kai said, breaking the comfortable silence. I never imagined humans could have a role in all this. I thought we were too small, too young, too limited. Lyra turned to him, her eyes gentle. Small, yes. Young, yes. But limited? Never. Humans have creativity, courage, and morality. You solve problems differently than other species. You adapt, you care. That is rare. Kai smiled. I guess that's why you chose me. Yes, she said softly. You are an example of what humans can become. And I believe humanity can achieve great things. Kai looked at her, a mix of admiration and gratitude filling his heart. He realized how much he had learned not just about alien technology or the tests, or the mysteries of Earthra, but about himself and the potential of the species he belonged to. Do you think I'll see more of the galaxy? He asked quietly. Lyra smiled faintly. Yes, but only when humanity is ready. And you will be part of that future. You have proven your capability, your intelligence, and your courage. The universe is watching, Kai, and it knows now that humans can rise to meet its challenges. Kai nodded, feeling a surge of determination. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries, challenges, and wonders. But humans were not insignificant. With courage, curiosity, and intelligence, they could reach far beyond what they had ever imagined. I'm ready, he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. I want to see it, learn it, be part of it. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. And you will. Together, we will prepare. You have the mind of a human, and I have knowledge of the galaxy. With both, there is nothing we cannot face. The night deepened, and the station settled into quiet. Outside, the wind whispered across Erythra's plains, carrying the promise of discovery, challenge, and adventure. The twin moons shone softly, illuminating the red rocks, the distant cliffs, and the endless horizon. Kai and Lyra stood together at the observation window, looking at the stars that sparkled above. The universe was immense, full of beings, civilizations, and secrets. But humanity had been noticed. Humanity had been tested and had passed, for the first time. Kai understood that humanity's future was not limited to one planet, one station, or one solar system. With courage, intelligence, and creativity, humans could rise to meet the vastness of the galaxy. And he, alongside Lyra, would be there to witness it and help humanity achieve it. He smiled softly, feeling a sense of fulfillment he had never known. The tests were over for now. The attention of the galaxy was upon them, and humanity, young and ambitious, had begun its journey among the stars. Kai took a deep breath. Looking at Lyra, thank you for trusting me and for helping me see what humans can do. Lyra's eyes softened. No, Kai, thank you. You reminded me why humans are extraordinary. Your courage, your thinking, and your heart, they are proof. The galaxy will see it now. Kai nodded, feeling the truth in her words. The night was quiet, but inside the station, a spark had ignited, a spark of human potential that no alien, probe, or council could ignore. As they stood together, looking at the stars, Kai realized something important. Humanity had the ability to rise, to adapt, to think, and to shine even in the vastness of space. And with that understanding, he felt ready for whatever the universe would throw at him next. Because he was human, and humans were capable of greatness. The morning light filtered through the observation room, casting soft beams across the consoles and screens. Kai sat at his workstation, scanning the latest data from the northern perimeter. For days, strange anomalies had been increasing in frequency and complexity. The magnetic fluctuations, minor energy bursts, and brief intrusions of unknown creatures were no longer occasional. They had become almost constant. Lyra stood beside him, her gaze calm but sharp. She had spent the night reviewing all the previous recordings, noting every detail that Kai might have missed. Kai, she said softly, we need to talk. It is time you know the full truth. Kai turned, curious. The full truth. He had known she wasn't human, but there was more. Something in her tone made him alert, though not afraid. I am a member of the Alara, Lyra began. Her voice was quiet but carried authority. an ancient species that has existed far longer than humans. We monitor new civilizations across the galaxy, observing, guiding, and testing potential. I have been living among humans for decades, in different forms, watching, learning, and sometimes helping. Kai felt a chill run down his spine, not of fear, but awe. Decades? You've been watching humans all this time. Yes, she said. Her eyes softened as she looked at him, and now, I have chosen to observe closely here because of you, Kai. You have a rare combination of creativity, courage, and morality. Most humans react to anomalies with panic or hesitation. You act, you solve, and you adapt. That is why I am here. Kai struggled to speak. Why me? Why the station? Lyra smiled faintly. You represent the potential of your species. Your work here is important not just for your station, but for humanity. You see patterns and find solutions in ways even advanced beings might overlook. Kai felt both proud and overwhelmed. He had always known humans were resourceful, but to hear it from someone as extraordinary as Lyra made his chest swell. Yet he also felt pressure. If she believed in his abilities, then failure was not an option. Before he could ask more, the alarms in the station blared again. Red lights flashed, and the soft hum of the life support systems was overtaken by the warning signal. It's happening again, Lyra said, moving toward the control room. Something is approaching the station. Faster this time. We must act quickly. Kai followed her, his heart racing. On the main display, a fast-moving object appeared, a large probe, unlike anything he had ever seen. Its surface was smooth, metallic, and covered in faint, glowing markings. What is it? Kai asked. A test, Lyra said calmly. The Alara are not the only watchers. This is a probe sent by another, older alien council. It evaluates new civilizations. Your species is being tested. Kai felt a mix of fear and excitement. Tested? What do you mean? It wants to see if humans are ready for contact, for knowledge, for partnership in the galaxy, Lyra explained. We do not know their full intentions, but they respect intelligence and ingenuity. That is why we must show it humanity's strengths. Kai's mind raced. He glanced at the station's defense controls. The probe was approaching at high speed, scanning the station in pulses of light. We can't fight it, he said. Not with weapons. But maybe we can communicate. Maybe we can show it our intelligence. Lyra nodded. Yes. Your solution must come from human thought. I will assist only when necessary. This is your trial, Kai. Kai's hands moved quickly, adjusting the station's communication arrays, rerouting energy through the sensors, and creating a pattern that could transmit information to the probe. He worked faster than he had ever worked before, guided by logic, intuition, and his understanding of human engineering. Lyra observed silently, her presence steadying him, when a small miscalculation appeared. She intervened subtly, correcting energy flows with precision he could not match. Her help was gentle, but she let Kai lead. Minutes passed like hours. The probe hovered near the station, its sensors scanning every adjustment, every calculation. Kai's pulse pounded in his ears. Then, the probe slowed, its surface shimmered, and small symbols glowed faintly. It's responding, Kai whispered. Yes, Lyra said. It is assessing your solution. The patterns you created demonstrate human logic, creativity, and adaptability. Kai felt a rush of relief. They had succeeded. The probe moved away slowly, its lights dimming as it retreated. The station returned to normal, though the air was charged with tension and excitement. You did well, Lyra said softly, turning to him. You showed what humans are capable of. This probe will report your success to its council. Humanity has gained attention. Kai exhaled, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it, he said, smiling. Together, yes. Lyra replied, her eyes softening. But remember, Kai, this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast, full of tests, challenges, and opportunities. And humanity has potential that few species possess. Over the next few days, life at the station settled into a tense routine. Kai repaired systems damaged by the probe's scanning, adjusted sensors, and monitored energy readings. He had proven that humans could adapt and solve problems, but he also knew the galaxy was watching. Lyra spent her time observing and teaching, revealing subtle techniques of analysis, energy control, and pattern recognition. Kai absorbed every detail, learning not just from her knowledge, but from her methodical approach to understanding the universe. One evening, as they sat in the lounge sharing a quiet meal, Kai asked, "Do you think humans can really be ready for the galaxy?" Lyra looked at him thoughtfully. "They are young, curious, and untested. But yes, humans have something rare. Intelligence, courage, and empathy. These are qualities even advanced civilizations respect. You, Kai, are proof of that potential." Kai felt a swell of pride and responsibility. It was one thing to succeed in his work at the station, but another to represent humanity's potential in the eyes of distant civilizations. Then, as if on cue, the station's sensors detected another anomaly smaller than the previous probe, but more organized. A swarm of small drones moved through the upper atmosphere, scanning and probing. Kai's mind raced. "More tests?" he asked. "Possibly," Lyra said calmly, "or reconnaissance. Either way, it is an opportunity. We must show humanity's ingenuity again." Kai nodded, determination settling over him. This time, he would not only react, he would anticipate, using a combination of human logic and lessons learned from Lyra. He devised a strategy to corral the drones, redirecting their energy beams to map the station's environment without harming the devices. Lyra watched, silently impressed. When Kai's adjustments were complete, the swarm halted, hovering near the station. Then, slowly, they retreated, leaving behind faint traces of their path. "You adapted quickly," Lyra said. "Most humans would panic. You use creativity, reason, and foresight. That is why you succeed." Kai smiled, feeling more confident than ever. "I guess humans aren't just survivors. We can think, learn, and grow even when facing the unknown." "Yes," Lyra said softly, "and that is why the galaxy is beginning to notice. But remember, Kai, with attention comes challenge. The next events may be more difficult than this. You will need all your ingenuity, courage, and determination." Kai nodded. He understood the gravity of what she said. This was more than a station, more than anomalies. Humanity was being tested, and he had a role in proving its worth. As night fell, Aerith's twin moons rose again, casting silver light over the red plains. Kai and Lyra stood together in the observation room, watching the horizon. Despite the dangers, the unknown, and the challenges ahead, Kai felt a sense of purpose he had never known. The galaxy was vast and mysterious, full of beings older and wiser than humans. But for the first time, Kai felt that humanity was not insignificant. With creativity, courage, and careful thought, humans could stand among the stars. And with Lyra by his side, guiding, observing, and occasionally helping, Kai knew they were ready for whatever the universe had in store. The challenges would grow. The tests would become harder. But Kai was determined. He would show that humans small, young, and inexperienced could achieve greatness beyond their imagination. The galaxy was watching. And Kai, with his human ingenuity and the extraordinary presence of Lyra, was ready to prove that humanity could rise to meet it. The morning sun of Aerith cast long, golden shadows across the station as Kai stepped into the central hall. His mind was still buzzing from Lyra's confession the night before. She wasn't human. Yet, despite the shock, he felt no fear. If anything, he was curious more than ever. The station hummed with quiet activity. A few other human researchers moved between labs, carrying equipment, checking screens, and communicating through headsets. Kai greeted them, but his thoughts kept drifting back to Lyra. She had been quiet that morning, serene as always, yet he noticed her eyes scanning the room, lingering on the smallest details. "Good morning," Kai said as he approached her. She was in the observation room, staring at a screen filled with data from the station's sensors. "Morning," Lyra replied softly. Her eyes flicked to him for a brief moment, then back to the screen. "Something is changing." Kai raised an eyebrow. "Changing? What do you mean?" "The readings from the northern perimeter," she explained. Magnetic fluctuations. Minor at first, but increasing steadily. Nothing dangerous, yet, but it could be a sign of something bigger. Kai frowned. He had been trained to notice patterns in data, to solve problems quickly. "I'll check it out," he said. "Maybe it's just equipment interference." Lyra shook her head. "No, this is natural. Not your standard glitch. Pay attention, Kai. Humans often miss the small signs." He nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and unease. Whatever this was, it was unusual, and he liked that dot. By mid-morning, Kai was at the station's exterior, examining the northern perimeter. The landscape stretched endlessly, red-orange plains meeting jagged cliffs in the distance. The sensors beeped quietly in his hand, showing irregular spikes. "Interesting," he muttered. "Not random. Something is moving out there." A soft voice spoke behind him. "It's not dangerous, not yet, but it's curious." Kai turned. Lyra had followed him. She was standing a few steps away, calm and graceful as always. He noticed again the subtle shimmer in her hair and the strange warmth she seemed to carry. Wherever she moved, "I didn't hear you come," he said. "I did not make a necessary noise." She replied, "It is part of observation. You were lucky I decided to join you." Kai smiled, despite himself. "Lucky, huh?" They worked together for the next few hours, examining the readings, taking notes, and adjusting the equipment. Lyra's knowledge was astounding. She pointed out patterns in the magnetic fluctuations that Kai would have missed. She suggested adjustments to the sensor arrays, and together, they stabilized the readings. By afternoon, they returned to the station. Kai's mind was buzzing with excitement. He had solved problems, adjusted equipment, and learned new ways of thinking, all with Lyra's guidance. "You're really good at this," he said, unable to hide his admiration. "Better than anyone I've worked with." Lyra smiled faintly. "I am not human, but you notice things humans often ignore. You have potential, Kai." Kai felt a rush of pride in something else, something he could not name. He wanted to ask more, to understand her fully, but he sensed that the truth would come in time. That night, the station went into quiet mode. Most researchers had gone to their rooms, leaving Kai and Lyra in the observation area. Outside, Aerithra's twin moons hung low, casting soft silver light across the plains. Kai was examining a data pad when a sudden alarm sounded. Red lights flashed, and a low siren echoed through the station. "What is it?" Kai shouted, rushing toward the control room. "An intruder," Lyra replied calmly, already moving beside him. "Something is near the perimeter. It is small, fast, and possibly intelligent." Kai's heart pounded. He had trained for emergencies, but this was different. He had never faced anything like this. Together, they activated the station's defensive measures, light barriers, force fields, and automated drones. A small, alien creature appeared on the main screen. It moved quickly, weaving between the terrain, avoiding detection. Kai observed the patterns and realized it was studying the station, almost as if it were learning. "We need to contain it," he said, his mind racing. "I can recalibrate the drones to trap it without harming it." Lyra nodded. "Be careful." "It is clever." Kai worked quickly, adjusting the drone settings, creating a pattern that would corral the creature. Lyra guided him silently, her insights precise and timely. Within minutes, the creature was contained in a temporary energy cage. Kai exhaled deeply, adrenaline rushing through him. "We did it." "Yes," Lyra said softly, but note its behavior. It was observing, learning. "You humans are attracting attention, Kai." Small, simple attention at first, but attention nonetheless. Kai looked at her, puzzled. "Attention? From who?" Lyra hesitated. "Not just one, many. Out there are beings older than your species, watching, testing. You are part of a bigger story." Kai shivered, partly from fear, partly from excitement. His world had grown suddenly larger, filled with possibilities he had never imagined. Over the next few days, the station experienced more minor anomalies. Sensors fluctuated, equipment showed odd readings, and strange energy bursts appeared at irregular intervals. Kai handled each challenge with his usual resourcefulness, often combining his human intuition with Lyra's advanced knowledge. One evening, While repairing a communication relay, Kai felt a sudden surge of energy. A spark jumped from the machinery, and he yelped, nearly dropping his tools. Lyra appeared instantly, placing a hand on the relay. The spark dissipated, and the system stabilized. "You stop that?" Kai asked, astonished. "Yes," Lyra said quietly. "I can influence energy in subtle ways. Only enough to prevent harm. You must focus on logic and observation. I help where humans could be in danger." Kai stared at her, awestruck. He realized again how extraordinary she was. And yet, he felt a strange trust, a confidence that together, they could handle anything Erythra or the galaxy threw at them. That night, as they shared a quiet dinner in the lounge, Kai tried to speak. But words felt small compared to the enormity of what he was learning. "You're not like anyone I've ever met," he said finally. Lyra smiled faintly. "No, I am not. But you are also different, Kai. Most humans would panic or freeze in the face of anomalies. You observe, think, and act. You are capable." Kai laughed softly. "I never thought I'd be praised by an alien." "Not an alien," Lyra corrected gently. "An observer, a guide, someone who sees potential in humanity." Kai felt warmth in his chest. Despite all the strange events, the alarms, and the mysteries, he felt alive, capable, and connected. For the first time, he understood that life on Erythra was not just about survival, it was about discovery, growth, and the possibilities that lay beyond understanding. But that night, as he lay in bed, he could not shake a lingering unease. The anomalies were increasing. The small creature, the energy bursts, the attention of unknown beings, something was coming. And though he trusted Lyra, he knew that soon he would have to rely on his own skills, courage, and human ingenuity to face challenges no human had faced before. Outside, Erythra's plain shimmered under the twin moons, the wind whispering across the red rocks and distant cliffs. The planet was alive with secrets, waiting for those brave enough to notice. And Kai, with Lyra by his side, was ready to notice and to act. Little did he know, the events that were beginning on this quiet planet would test everything he believed about humans, aliens, and the universe itself. Kai closed his eyes, feeling both nervous and excited. Tomorrow, the anomalies would continue. Tomorrow, he and Lyra would face new challenges. And tomorrow, he would learn just how extraordinary life and humanity could be. Kai stepped off the shuttle and took a deep breath. The air was colder than he expected, but it was clean, crisp, and surprisingly refreshing. Erythra, the human colony planet, stretched endlessly before him, red-orange plains, jagged rock formations, and small clusters of buildings gleaming under the twin suns. This was his new home for the next year, maybe longer. He had been assigned to the Orion Research Station, a place humans had built on the edge of the planet's northern plateau. As he walked toward the station, Kai's mind raced. He was an engineer, fresh out of university, eager to test his skills in real conditions. He had read about Erythra's strange magnetic storms, unpredictable gravity fluctuations, and ancient alien ruins nearby. He loved challenges, but part of him felt nervous. Being away from Earth, from everything familiar, could be lonely. The station was smaller than he imagined, but functional and neat. Lights hummed softly as he passed through the entrance, and he could hear the faint buzz of machinery running in the background. A holographic screen lit up with a cheerful voice. "Welcome, Kai. Your quarters are ready. Room 7B. Please proceed." Kai nodded to himself. Room 7B. He had packed lightly, bringing only essentials. As he approached the door, he paused. Something in his gut told him to be careful, but he shrugged it off. Perhaps it was just nerves. He entered the room, expecting an empty, sterile space. Instead, he froze. Sitting on the edge of the bed was a young woman. She had silver blue eyes that seemed to reflect the dim light of the room, and her hair shimmered faintly, like it held its own light. She looked up at him calmly, as if she had been expecting him. "Oh, I'm sorry," Kai stammered. "I didn't know anyone was here." The woman smiled softly. "It's fine. There was a mistake in the housing assignments. I was only supposed to stay here temporarily." Kai swallowed. "Temporary?" For how long? Until they fix the error, she said simply. Could be a few days. Kai glanced around the room. The bed she sat on looked normal. The desk was neat, and there were 2 chairs. Nothing here screamed danger. Still, there was something unusual about her, something he could not place. Okay, he said, trying to sound casual. I guess we'll be roommates for a little while then. She nodded, standing gracefully. Her movements were smooth, almost to perfect. Yes, I am Lyra, she said. And you are? Kai, he replied. He offered a hand. She took it, and he felt a strange warmth in her grip. It was brief, but enough to make him pause. After settling in, Kai unpacked his few belongings. Lyra watched silently, her eyes never leaving him. He felt a little nervous under her gaze, but also oddly comforted. I hope this arrangement isn't too inconvenient, Lyra said. I can adjust if you need privacy. No, Kai said quickly. It's fine, really. That night, after dinner, they sat together in the small lounge. The station hummed around them, and outside, Aerithra's twin moons rose slowly over the horizon. Kai tried to make small talk. So, what do you do here? He asked. I observe, Lyra said simply. She sipped her tea, her gaze fixed on the distant mountains. I monitor the station, the planet, and sometimes, the people. Kai raised an eyebrow. The people? She nodded. Yes, humans are. Interesting, Kai chuckled nervously. He didn't know if she was joking or serious. I guess that makes 2 of us, he said, feeling a little awkward. They talked for a while longer, sharing stories of Earth, of space travel, and of their work. Lyra spoke with a calm intelligence, offering insights Kai had never considered. She seemed to know a lot about technology, far more than a temporary resident should. You're very skilled, he said finally, impressed. Do you work in engineering? She shook her head. Not exactly. I help with systems, but my focus is on observation and analysis. You could say I watch for patterns, anomalies. Kai frowned. Patterns? Yes, she said, her voice soft but serious. Sometimes small changes mean big events. I notice things humans often miss. Kai found himself fascinated. He wanted to ask more questions, but something held him back. There was a quiet mystery in her eyes, a depth he couldn't understand. Days passed, and Kai and Lyra grew accustomed to each other. They shared meals, worked together when needed, and sometimes simply sat in silence, enjoying the quiet of the station. Kai found her presence calming, and strangely, he began to rely on her insights. She could predict minor equipment failures before they happened, or notice subtle changes in the environment. One evening, as Kai was repairing a malfunctioning solar panel on the station's roof, Lyra appeared behind him. You missed a connection, she said softly, pointing to a small wire. Kai blinked. How did you see that from there? Lyra smiled faintly. I pay attention. Kai shook his head, half in disbelief, half in admiration. He felt a growing respect for her, even though he still didn't fully understand her. That night, he lay in bed thinking about her. There was something about her presence that felt different, almost otherworldly. He dismissed it as imagination, exhaustion, or the effect of being on a strange planet. But that night, as he drifted into sleep, he felt a soft brush against his hand. He opened his eyes and saw Lyra sitting near the edge of his bed. I need to tell you something, she whispered. Her voice was barely audible over the hum of the station's life support systems. Kai sat up, heart pounding. What is it? She hesitated, her gaze locked on his. I am not entirely human. Kai blinked. He stared at her, unsure if he had heard correctly. His mind raced. Not human? Lyra nodded. I have been living among humans for a long time, observing. I chose this station because you are remarkable. You have curiosity, courage, and a mind capable of great things. Kai felt a mix of disbelief and wonder. You mean like an alien? She nodded again. Yes, but I'm here to study, to learn, and to help where I can. I mean no harm. Kai leaned back, trying to process. The woman he had spent days with, sharing meals, stories, and quiet evenings, was not human. And yet, he felt no fear. only a strange sense of awe. You trusted me, he said finally, more to himself than to her. I trust you, she said simply. And I believe humans can achieve more than you realize. You, especially, Kai exhaled slowly. He didn't know what the future held or why Lyra had chosen him, but he felt a spark of excitement. Life on Erythra was about to become much more extraordinary than he had ever imagined. That night, he fell asleep with the soft glow of the twin moons shining through the window. For the first time, he didn't feel alone. He felt that the universe itself had opened a door and that he was ready to step through it. With Lyra by his side, outside, the wind of Erythra whispered over the red plains, carrying secrets that only the stars could fully understand. And within the quiet walls of the Orion Research Station, to minds one human, one extraordinary, were beginning a partnership that would test courage, creativity, and the very limits of what it meant to be human.